Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. Yesterday, we were discussing about the causes of globalization, and the most important, or we may say that the single reason for the process of globalization is the technology because of revolution in the field of information and technology. The globalization, the process of globalization became possible. It's not like that globalization was not existing in the world before the coming of telephone, telegraph, and more importantly, internet. It was there. There was a flow of trade. There was flow of ideas, flow of capital, and flow of people was also there. But the scale and the speed was not as much as it is today because of technology. And moreover, what is required for globalization is the willingness of the people. They must understand that the whole world has been interconnected. They must understand that they are not they cannot live aloof. All the world has become a global village. And then one other reason for the process of globalization is the liberalized economic policy was adopted by many countries of the world after the disintegration of USSR, and it was done under the pressure of international organizations like World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund. So these are the reasons because of which the process of globalization started. Now we will discuss the consequence. As I told you earlier that globalization many times what happens that people think that globalization is only economic. Think about globalization in only in economic terms, but actually globalization is a process which has political aspect also, economic aspect and cultural aspect also. It has globalization has affected our life in political terms, in economic terms, and in cultural terms. So, globalization is a process which has consequences in all the three aspects of our life. So, first of all, we will consider the political consequences. Political consequences means how the process of globalization has affected the powers of the state. Okay, so we see that because of globalization, what happened that first of all, powers of the state has been reduced. Why has it reduced? Because there is a great reason. Now, in the globalization period after this 1991, what happened that in all the countries of the world, the MNCs have become very much important because these multinational companies are investing a lot of capital in all the countries. And when they are investing the capital and they are they have so much money, they are so economically they are so powerful that they affect the decisions of the government of any country is not free to take decision on its own, because whatever decision the government is going to take will affect the multinational companies. Because of this, what happens that the multinational companies start playing crucial role in the decision making process of the government. It tries to influence it. It not does not try. You cannot say try. It influences. It influences the decision of the government. The government has to take decisions by considering the interest of the MNCs. So, what are we seeing? That the power of the government has been reduced. Now, the government is not free to take decision on its own. Now, the government is has to think according to the interest of the multinational companies. So, actually, what change has taken place in respect of the powers of the state, that in earlier times, there used to be police state. Police state means the state which has only which has functions only regarding the maintenance of law and order in the society, and to keep the boundaries of the country intact. So this type of state is called police state, which is concerned only with maintaining law and order, and mm, and to save and to safeguard country against any kind of internal attack. So this was police state. Earlier, this type of state was there, but due to many type of new ideologies developed, and welfare state, the concept of welfare state came into existence. And under this welfare state, what happens that the responsibility and the functions of the state increases too much. The state starts doing all kind of activities, because the purpose of the state is the welfare of the people, and in order to achieve that welfare of the people, the state is not concerned only about maintaining law and order and protection from external attack, but the responsibility of a state increases a lot. It interferes in all the aspects of life. So that is welfare state. But nowadays, again, we are going back to police state, because of this globalization, because of multinational companies. Now, because of these multinational companies, the government is the function of the government has become limited. It is again now concerned only with the internal and external security of the country. So this is in this way we can say that the process of globalization has reduced the power of the government. Okay, but at the same time we also find that it's not that this power of the state has reduced, because it is only the state which has adopted such a policy that the multinational companies are operating in the particular country. So ultimately the government is powerful. And one more thing we can say, that because of technology, because of enhanced technology nowadays, the power of the state has actually increased. Though it cannot take decision on many matters on its own, it has to take into consideration the interest of the multinational companies. Still, there are some reasons which make the there are some reasons which make the state more powerful, and uh, this is because of technology. Because of enhanced technology, what happens that the state is more powerful in collecting the informations about its citizens. So, because of this information, what happens that the state can rule better, because he is knowing more and more about its citizens. So on the one hand we can say that the privacy of the citizens are getting curtailed, and the powers of the states are increasing. Okay, so in this way we can say that the states are becoming more powerful. In this regard, I can tell, I'm just giving you an example. Um, in recent time, one Arogya Setu app has been launched by the government in view of this coronavirus disease. Now, there are allegations from many parts of the um, country that from many parts of the people that this app is a kind of surveillance system. Through this app the government is going to control the people, because many uh, data regarding the people will be available to the government. So this is only an allegation, and it is most probably it is not true. But this kind of things is very is likely to happen because of advanced technology. So this is the impact of technology because of globalization. We cannot say that the powers of the state has increased. Okay, it has reduced, but actually it has increased. Now it can have more informations about the citizens. So now we will consider this economic consequences. In this regard we will see that many times uh, globalization is considered only in respect of economic life. Globalization is considered only that it is concerned with the economy. And whenever we talk of globalization, it means only we are talking only about international institutions like the International Monetary Fund and World Trade Organization, because these are the international institutions which are putting pressure on the on different countries of the world for adopting a particular type of economic policy. But actually, this is the if we think that globalization is only about IMF and WTO, then it is not a correct view of our regarding the globalization, because in globalization there are many more things besides international organization. We have to see so many things that in the process of globalization, who is getting benefit, and who is getting harmed by the process of globalization. So we see that I discussed this earlier also, that after the disintegration of USSR, there was pressure from World Trade Organization and IMF upon all the countries to open their economy. And so, in many cases, this globalization was is forced. The government is being forced by this international organization, these international organizations, to open their economy. And because of that, uh, what we find that whatever restrictions was there on the flow of goods, on the flow of capital, or flow of ideas, all these restrictions has been removed by countries. Now, goods can move from one place to another, one country to another country freely. There is the duty which was imposed on importing of goods has been reduced, and this movement of goods has become very we cannot say that it has become completely free. There are duties, but the rate of uh, the duty is reduced. Then there is flow of capital also, because foreign direct investment has been approved. Now companies of developed countries, that is MNCs, can make investment in any of the country, and when they invest in developing countries, their margin of profit increases. Why it increases? Because of cheap availability of labor. In the developing countries, they get labor cheaply. In developing countries, what happens that the government, mostly the government is not concerned so much about the environmental consequences of these industrial development, and the policy, the laws regarding the environment and all are not so mm, harsh. And because of this, what happens that the MNCs works more easily in developing countries. So these are the flow of capital is there, flow of goods is there, and flow of ideas is also taking place, because we see that the internet developed at America, and then the whole world is now using it. So this is the flow of idea. But one thing where we see that the flow of people is not that easy. Flow of people is restricted. Why this flow of people has been restricted? Because what happens that developed countries, uh, they don't want that flow of people should be easy. If people can move easily to developed countries, what happen that people will start flooding those countries because of job opportunities. So in this regard, what is done by the developed countries, they guard their boundaries. They start different type of visa policies, make it stricter, so that very few people could reach their country, and in this way they can mm, secure the job of their country for their own citizens. If someone from another country is coming to our country, suppose, and he is able to get a very good job, then in that case, what is happening that he is um, he is snatching the opportunity of an Indian. So in this way, this kind of movement of people are restricted, especially by developed countries, because people want to go to these countries because of job opportunities. So in this way, we see that globalization is very much matlab many people are there who think that globalization means only economic globalization. So economic globalization is very much important. In economic globalization, we see that especially after 1991, there is a flow of goods, flow of capital, and flow of ideas are taking place, but flow of people is not so easy. Especially the developed countries has put some restrictions through visa policies, so that very selected people can reach their country. So these are the things. Now we see the consequences of globalization in economic life. Okay, in this regard, we must understand that we cannot generalize the consequences of globalization in economic life. Uh, our experience has showed that the process of globalization has different impact on different countries, and within one country, we see that all the sections of the society are not equally are not equally impacted, are not getting equal impact from the process of globalization. Some sections are in advantageous position, and some sections are in disadvantageous position. So we cannot say simply, we cannot generalize that globalization has a positive effect or a negative effect, because it is very it depends on the context, it depends on the circumstances, what will be the consequence of globalization in the economic life of a country. Okay, so now there are some people, some of the uh, scholars and intellectuals who consider that the globalization has a positive impact on the economy, and there are some who consider, who are of the view that globalization has negative impact on the uh, economy of the countries. So we will take into consideration both the points. First of all, we will think that we will consider this view that globalization has a negative impact. People who support this view, they are of the opinion that the process of globalization has benefited only a small section of population, but for the larger section of the society, it is harmful, because the larger section of the society belongs to poorer section, and this poorer section is very much dependent on the government. They want education, they want health, they want sanitation, all these things they are in need of, but they cannot pay for all these things. Government provide these services free, so they are dependent on the government. But because of globalization, what happens that there is a type of the multinational companies starts investing in the field of education, in the field of health, in the field of sanitation, and because of that investment of MNCs, what happens that they invest only at those places from where they have the assurance of getting uh, benefit. They are knowing that if they are investing in education, if they are starting an educational institute, then it must be in a uh, not in a remote place, but in big cities, so that more and more people will get the education from there, and they will be at the benefit, because uh, their fees is so high that only the rich section of the society can gain that, can avail that service. And when the government is providing this service of education, what happens that the government is providing in all the remote areas of the country also. But in our country, we can take this example that in our country we see that the quality of education at government schools or government especially government schools are not so good. And because of this, what happens that the poorer section are suffering, because they are not getting quality service from the government, and those who have money, those who can pay for these services, they are able to get more quality services. So this is the condition. Because of globalization, the divide between the rich and poor has increased. So poor are becoming more poor, and rich are becoming more rich. So this is the condition, and this is the reason that many people who are against this globalization, because of its negative impact on the poor section of the society. These people talk about social safety nets. There must be some social safety nets so that the negative impact of globalization on the poor can be minimized. The government must adopt some social safety nets under which the poor section can be given priority. But many people are of the view that these safety nets are not sufficient. They cannot ensure safety to the poor section of the society. So they want that there should be complete, it should be stopped. The process of globalization should be stopped so that the poor section can be safeguarded. So this is the impact of negative impact of globalization. It is widening the gap between the rich and the poor. It is not in favor of the poor section of society. It is advantageous only for a small section of the society. And in this regard, many economists are of the view that economic globalization is the recolonization of the world. Because in colonization, what we find that the developed countries were having control over the economy, over the politics, over the society uh, of the poor countries, or the countries which were not developed at that time, which were not aware of the many type of new things at that time. So again, that situation has arose, under which we see that the developed countries of the West are controlling the economy of the developing countries of the third world. So this is the recolonization, and these arguments are presented by the economists who are against the process of globalization. Now we will see the positive impact of globalization. Okay, the positive impact is uh, also very much, because the people who support the process of globalization, they are of the view that globalization has helped in the well-being of the whole society, because globalization means uh, lack of trade barriers, means there will be increased amount of trade take place between the countries. And when there will be increased amount of trade, then what happened, the economy will grow and it will help the whole world. So they are of the view that globalization is a process, and now we cannot stop it, because uh, if we have to move forward, we can move forward with this globalization only, and now we cannot think of moving backward. So in this way they are of the view that globalization is inevitable, because in the future we are going to adopt this globalization at uh, more we are going to be more globalized because of enhanced technology, because of more interdependence of different countries. So they are of the view that whenever there will be lesser restriction on trade, it will increase the economic activity, and ultimately this increased economic activity will affect the whole world. The economy of the all the countries will increase, and benefit will be, the all the sections of the society will be benefited. Then there are some who are, we can say that they are moderate supporters of globalization. These moderate supporters of globalization say that globalization, no doubt, it provides a challenge to what? A challenge to the government, uh, in order to give priority to the poor section of the society. But what is the responsibility of the government? That it should uh, respond intelligently. We cannot deny that we are going towards a more globalized world. We are going towards a more interdependent and integrated world. So these are the things which we have to accept. We cannot go back, and there must be government should must ensure the well-being of the poor section of the society. So these are the consequences in the economic field. Now we will see the cultural consequence. Cultural consequence is also very important, and in this regard, you maybe you must remember that when we were reading chapter 3, US hegemony, and one of the aspect of this hegemony was cultural hegemony. Hegemony as soft power. So what is this soft power? The same thing. Whatever we studied in soft power, that is cultural consequences. Okay. So now we will see the cultural consequences of the process of globalization. We will consider about this in the next class.